I wish
All right,
I'd have
guys,
been N-word.
we're on the Miami Made Show podcast. We're live here. I'm Angelo, here with co-host Bobby Radical. My good friend Nelson Aguilar, old school Miami. Say hi there.
What's going on?
And my old school friend Andy Costas, another old school Miami legend.
You're Robert Thomas's friend.
Yes.
Oh,
Did you just wake
you
up?
didn't say your fucking name together. You're fucking Robert
And
Thomas.
Glad to have you back.
Our dear friend John Turchin still here with us. Everybody say hi to John Turchin.
Hey,
Club New.
Hey, he's the original #1.
Yes.
Hey, don't be scared. You can come by.
Yeah. This is an awesome time, guys. I'm so happy to have you guys. We're all really good friends, and what I love about it is you guys all represent Miami in such a beautiful, honest, clear, like genuine way. We all grew up here. We all have our backgrounds, and one of the things we want to do on the show today is talk a little bit about Miami, how we love this city, all the things we went through, experienced, saw, and contributed. We all contributed in many different ways. He's owned many restaurants and nightclubs. You as well. So let's start off with that. Let's start off, Andy, you came from New York,
Right.
and lead us into that story.
He escaped from New York.
He looks like that character.
I actually escaped. So,
Yeah.
I was in the construction industry doing curtain wall systems on skyscrapers.
Throwing
and-
people off windows.
Absolutely.
Get
And
into
it
the
was
Greek.
kind of a crazy thing, and I was involved with the wise guys, and my life was threatened like twice, and my uncle said, you need to go down to Miami and look at this restaurant, Zia Luigi's.
Yes, on Washington and 13th,
Yeah.
was it?
He goes,
Or
make sure
12th?
they're not robbing me. Go see it. And I met a guy named J.P. Parlavecchio.
Yes.
And when I got to the airport, Tommy Pooch picked me up. This guy, Tommy Pooch, picks me up in a Citroen French car. And he takes me to the forge, and it got stuck in the front, of course. And then I went to met Sharif, and that's when I started in Miami. And then
Sharif
after that-
Melnick.
Yep.
Sharif
and
Melnick,
that's,
the Forge.
Yes.
That was my first night here, and I was like, all
That
right.
was a thing in Miami. You came to Miami, you got to say hi to Sharif and Al Malnique, right?
Yes.
They were the old school guys from Miami that, they had the restaurant, The Forge, but, they owned a lot of different businesses. But,
The original Godfathers.
the original godfathers of Miami. Miami was always an open city for all types of people in all types of industries. But in the world of having that culture of honoring people, you'd come to Miami and you'd want to know Cubans.
That's the spot.
And, Sharif and his
Wednesday
family.
night,
Yeah.
Wednesday night. That's where you find everybody and anybody, and you find the one
Ladies'
guy
night?
in the white suit.
Jimmy Z's, right?
There was always the one guy who wore a complete white suit,
Yeah.
and that's the guy we wanted to find, and you.
And so you get here, Tommy brings you in. Tell us a little bit about the time, the year. It was what, like 90?
92. 92. So I go over here, actually right across the street. I can
Yeah,
still
we're
see
right
it.
there.
Directly across the street.
There was a place called the Butter Club that was for sale, and a furniture store that was next door to it. And then we had, Stallone, and had a couple of people that were kind of backing me up to do a place called the Scrap Bar.
Nice.
Scrap Bar is a famous rock place in Manhattan. So going to do that with the guys from the Scrap Bar, and all of a sudden, Erica Morris and
From Bash.
from Bash, and this Russian guy who's I forgot his name.
Alexei.
Alexei.
Yes.
Thank you. So, and Mick Hucknall from Simply Red. So they kind of outbid me.
Yeah. And Sean Penn, too, right?
And Sean
Yeah.
Penn, outbid me, and I was stuck with a half a venue, so I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And I was like, shit. I'd never been in the business, I was a builder and stuff. So I said, okay, what's the next thing? They took it over, no hard feelings. So I came up with Union Bar, which was a combination of Nels, Danceteria, everything I knew in New York, because that's all I knew. And I started putting it together, and it went
became
off.
a hit.
It went off.
And you have a video. He was very smart in having this young guy from UM.
No, I wasn't smart. You know what?
It was
This guy-
accidentally?
This guy came by. He was a student. He goes, "I want to video you doing what you do." And I said, "I don't care. Do what you do." And
He documented history.
I called. I didn't even know the guy's name. I called him Spielberg.
Yeah.
And after all this guy documented from the beginning to
Putting
the
on the
opening.
sign, Johnny. You imagine that?
Put on the sign, everything. He documented everything, and then years later, the guy gave it to me, and I was like, "Wow." It was
There
a
it
gem.
was.
Yeah, that's going to be in our film festival.
You know what's cool about it? The beginning. I saw a little bit of the beginning, and they're putting. You ever seen that part in Godfather where they're putting up the olive oil sign?
Absolutely.
It was just like that. They're putting up the sign, the whole thing. That was so cool.
You know what? Yeah, that was a gem. Then I had the guys from Bash coming over giving me champagne. So I became really good.
Unless Johnny took it.
So I became good friends with them, and I became good friends with Eric. And then from then on, I helped them with Nikki Beach in different parts of the world, and I designed.
How many clubs did you design the interior?
Automatic Slims.
No, that was mine, but I probably about 40.
Liquid.
Go
through.
Ready Bar.
Tudor
Lounge. Bash.
Yeah.
I'm gonna forget a lot.
A whole bunch. Oxygen Lounge.
Oxygen. Yeah, I mean everybody that was opening. Chaos.
Yeah.
So everybody that was opening, they always came to me. So what I used to do, because I had their material, so whoever was opening first, I used the other guy's material to open the other guy's material.
Wise guy.
And the other guys were like, "Hey, that looks familiar. Don't worry about it."
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. And then I would stage the openings because I would use everyone's material for the next guy.
Yeah.
So.
And you have a lot of that collected too. I've been in your studio there in what's that area called there by Little Haiti
It's called Little Haiti, Magic City. Yeah. Depends, Lemon City, but.
And by the way, we're gonna have a once a month party coming by soon with Andy and really cool little concept coming up soon. So that we'll stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we're gonna do a once a month party to exhibit art, and we do all type of retro furniture called American Trash.
The venue's amazing too.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a cool place, man. It's like everything accumulated over the years. For American culture. And
you can do a museum with that stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, man. It's my man cave, but I'm going to open it up.
Well, let's keep going. Nelson's here with us, good friend of mine for a long time. Nelson is, he's owned restaurants, bars, everything you can think of. Nelson's got an incredible story. We have good friends in common. We met a while back, and over the years, many times, he's told me the most amazing stories, untold stories. I won't share them unless he wants me to. He's told me some of the best stories. We have a very good close friend in common, Stephen Bauer, and a lot of other friends. Nelson, tell me a little bit about your you mentioned Honey, the bar, but tell us a little more.
I first want to say this.
Go ahead.
So, I ran into this guy at the bar.
Right? Miami story.
And
I think that's me.
No, right now.
Yeah, I know.
Coming a little closer to your mic.
The microphone.
Before I got here, right, you gotta do a little reconnaissance.
That's old school.
So
He's a character.
Yeah,
I got a guy that I love very much. He's probably one of the most decent human beings I've ever seen in my life. His name is Robert Thomas.
The best.
Rob the motherfucking roofer.
Yeah.
So, and I call him, right, because
right now at the bar.
The only guy, no.
Oh.
Recognizance. I've been
before.
I've been scoping the place out for a couple of days.
Yeah. I know. I gave him all the info. This is where I'm going to be. This is where it's going to happen.
So the torching gentleman.
Yeah.
So Tommy, right? Tommy's
Tommy
like
Turchin.
Yeah, but there's one that looks like a beetle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
His brother.
He lives in North Carolina,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of his. This is why I want to, give this some life here.
Yeah.
Because this, to me,
special.
Is the essence of Miami. And why we're all here.
Thank you.
You see? And it's like a beautiful carpet that's weaved.
Yeah.
And this is what it is. So.
And I thank you for trusting me. You know I always come through for you.
I show Robert the list, and he says, that fucking guy Andy Costas, that's my friend, no matter what. Boom. That means
you're good.
If Andy says jump out, nothing's going to happen, I'm going to do it.
See?
Sure to God, and I'm still here. So I'm not that stupid. But that's, I got to finish this. So then, see, I'm the least that should be here in the sense that I had a lot of away time.
Yeah.
Okay? But that's where
he's working on his master's degree.
Isn't life special?
Here's where the weave thing comes in, right?
Yeah.
So he's talking, and I had the honor and the pleasure. And see, it was such an honor, I had to go do time. Because if not, it would have never occurred.
Yeah.
And I met a guy in a commissary line one day, He was the most elegant, dapper motherfucker you'd ever want to see. And I looked at his pants because you get your little name, right?
Right.
And it said D'Amico. And I got to meet the guy because, you know, we had a lot of time. And we would sit on a bench in the yard, and he would tell me that he financed Chris's first club.
Right.
Liquid.
And then
Rebar.
The one that burnt down.
Risk. Yeah.
I don't know.
1203 Washington.
And then the street knew him as Jackie the Nose.
Right.
But it's so incredible
that we're all here.
that the fabric that
life.
creates Miami is so all-inclusive.
That's funny.
But so exceptional.
My dog.
May God bless everybody. Said Tiny
You know
Tim.
what?
I love this. I love this a lot. Go ahead.
And I know the Nose's son very well. Yeah.
I love this so
Go
much.
crazy.
I love this so
Wasn't
much.
Jackie something else? I don't know
Yeah.
if he's still alive.
I love this so much because
But his son was down
you're
here.
a special friend to me, and so is he, and obviously Bobby and everyone.
He's
that's
my
been here.
friend. Like you wouldn't believe.
But I'm so happy because I already know what's about to happen.
Right.
But sometimes my friends don't know. But you all trust me, and then when it happens, you're all like,
we
damn,
trust you. We
this
don't
is
trust. Just remember that.
and to share a little bit with you guys on Nelson, then we'll segue into different topics and back. We'll go back and forth. When me and Nelson met through a lot of mutual friends, we were on an island at one of his places, and he says to me, "Hey, listen, you're a filmmaker. Let's do this, this, and this," and we're talking about it. And he goes, "But I need a favor from you." Not a lot of people understand that when someone says that to you right away. He goes, "Hey, I got this guy, James, Boss. He's called Boss. I need you to take care of him for me, Angelo." And he trusted me, or he tested me, right? From the get-go. And we did that. And we accomplished it. And recently I just shared him the update on that. So when I said to him, because he doesn't do interviews, when I said, "Hey, Nelson, I want you to come on this podcast," he's like, "Angelito, let me ask you a few questions." So, he does his questions, and I catered to him. Actually, I was in his office when we were talking. And in my head, I'm going, he doesn't even know yet what's about to happen, because I'm going to have Johnny, I'm going to have Andy, Tommy's coming, Bobby. And when he realizes, he's going to be like,
At home.
This is good. Yeah. And that's what I want, because that's love,
Miami
that's honor,
style.
that's respect. It's Miami style.
It's like I had
Because friends are family.
never had so much interaction with this gentleman here, but
You read it.
he's been misnamed.
I like this.
In my book, he's original Gringo OG 305.
You should have seen when we were at Books and Books.
Survivor.
When we were at Books and Books.
I don't know what name he goes by anymore.
Yeah, right? You got to reinvent yourself.
When we were at Books and Books recently, that me and you were talking, Nelson, that I called you from there for the last Kilo book from TJ English for Willie Falcone. He jumps up in the middle of the thing, right? You know how they do the meet and greet and they talk about the book. And this one lady, there's always one lady, well, there was a lot of crime or something like that.
They were murderers. They're
So
bad.
she jumps up, and nobody said anything. Obviously, none of us are going to say anything. Los muchachos, nobody's going to say anything. The family, nobody. He jumps up. He goes, "What are you talking about?" Willie and Sal were like Robin Hood. Bro, the place erupted. Everybody was going crazy. And everybody was like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? And I'm like, this is Bobby. And then when they got to know him, and later on, the whole family asked him to come to the back of Cafe Abrachi. And they're like, "I want to meet your friend, Angelo. I want to meet your friend." I go, "Yeah, it's Bobby." He was, from that time. And it was such a joyous time, especially for the old school cats, which he's part of that too, right? But they, some people didn't, know him that way.
It's something in courts they call it jurisdiction. So the man has jurisdiction to speak about Miami.
Well, she didn't know what she was talking about.
Well,
And I had her first
But
But we all let her.
experience.
And Eileen,
You took her to school.
the daughter turns around, she looks at me, she goes, "Yeah, fuck yeah," because people don't understand that the world that we're from Miami, and even you coming from New York, you're more Miami than New York now.
No, now I am.
And when you're from Miami, it's
This
like
is
a
the
family.
sixth borough.
It's a fraternity. Johnny was here. He's saying there's a lot of stuff I can't tell you. This is how we do it. This is how it was.
Yeah, he was the first guy. He saw everything first, actually.
Well, the story I told at the book signing is I had a Mac-10 machine gun that they gave me as collateral, and I told my contacts in Miami, they go, "No, you're not bringing that back to Miami.
Right.
We don't deal in violence. We don't carry guns." And I had to make that point straight because
The lady was
those muchachos, they were different than everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's how they lasted so long and had so much love from the community because they weren't violent. They didn't kill people.
They were just having fun making money.
Yes.
But see, here, one of the
And racing boats.
motivations
Yeah.
one of the motivations that I have for having lately activated myself and put myself, because the winners are the ones that write the history.
Amen.
Okay? And everybody here is a survivor.
Right.
We don't all agree on everything.
Right.
We all come from different parts, but we are Miami.
Yes.
Because Miami was an open city. So by definition,
we're a family.
the people that are here are Miami.
Amen.
And welcome to Miami. Everybody that's continuing to come. So what am I doing? The motivation is that the legacy of who we were.
The story,
No, of who we were, what made us tick. So I'm not here to sugarcoat it. Like, unfortunately, in the documentary, you put it the first scene. I cut off a head. I put it on the thing. It was a true thing. Don't think I'm stupid. We already did our time for that.
Yeah.
That's why he's got the story.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I didn't tell you that story to make it seem anything else than the message
was at the time
that I am trying to deliver is Miami was the zone, impact zone of commercial cocaine in the United States.
Absolutely.
Before that, this guy did it, that guy did it, everybody could afford it, and there was a couple of junkies in Harlem.
Yeah.
But that was before Miami.
Yeah.
And to me, and you invited me, I'm sorry. This whole thing,
On you.
this whole thing has master classes. And I would tell you that the United States government of America at one point thought the people that made those decisions of where we're going as a nation and how we got here thought that it was in the best interest to introduce cocaine on a commercial level to the rest of the United States. And it hit us. I mean, before Richard Pryor blew up, a bunch of motherfuckers blew up in Miami. Because think about it, like bad ideas. Why would you put ether, highly flammable, cocaine, highly unpredictable,
I'm past that.
a bunch of beautiful blondes, and the money for nothing and the chicks for free, and expect that everything's gonna be all right?
He just crushed it.
He's good. I can't say anything after that, but
get a little closer. All right.
Yeah, come closer.
That was, but we got that, right?
Oh, yeah, we got it.
Okay, that was fucking classic.
Am I right or wrong?
Right.
you're 100% right.
I mean, so I'm not trying to whitewash this shit. No racism
Fix his
implied
hair.
here.
Fix his hair.
Yeah, bring that mic up.
There you go.
So he's,
Get his mohawk
And
down.
bring his mic up.
yeah, you guys should be able to hear each other.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to whitewash this.
Yeah.
And truth be told, I'm the least amongst us.
It's too tight.
I do feel that since I survived the era
Absolutely.
at different levels of it,
Yeah.
I wish my life would have been as glamorous as this.
Yeah. You should hear his stories. Tell us his stories.
The money for nothing and the chicks for free. That's it.
Oh,
There is
God.
no other story. You're 7 feet tall, you're good looking, you're young, and people trust you.
Tell
There
us. You told me a really good story, Andy, where tell me. There was a couple of stories you told me about women, and they would use the.
Tell us about your stint as a model. Your short
It
modeling
was
career.
one day in Hoboken, and I beat up a bum, and that was
This
it.
guy was a fighter, like a street fighter. This guy was
He's
fighting.
still a fighter.
Yeah.
He was.
You know what? So when I came here, like I said, all the agencies in New York, wherever, they trusted a few people down here who I knew. So they would send the models down here, and they would give us the comp cards.
Right.
And then we'd sit at lunch and trade them like baseball cards. I don't like this. You get this one, you get this one, because we already got a stamp of approval. And it was crazy. So, like he said, I didn't go to sleep for 3 years. And at the time, I didn't do schmeg, whatever. I didn't do blow, but I was awake for I couldn't go to sleep for 3 years.
Robert Thomas style.
From the time I opened my club, because what would happen is they were shooting a lot of movies here. Jim Carrey,
Pet Detective,
Drop
Any
Zone,
Given Sunday.
Wesley Snipes,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So, and then you had the Guidos,
Yeah.
because my uncle was, I can say he's dead now, but so can't kill me. Eddie Garofalo,
Yeah.
he was a captain so the thing was, I didn't know at the time that they said, "Oh, Ange, go down to Miami, check out my Italian restaurant." I was really a beard. So I was blonde, looked like a surfer guy, but I spoke Guido.
Yeah.
I know the Guido ways.
But you're Greek.
I'm Greek
Yeah.
Italian.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I knew the ways of the Guido because I was brought up with the Guidos from Staten Island.
Birds of a feather.
So didn't know I was being set up. So let's open.
Oh,
a
that's a
club.
good story. Watch.
Let's open a club. Yeah. So because when my uncle came down with the other guys from the Genovese, they would come in jumpsuits, like Takani jumpsuits, walking down Ocean Drive. They looked like the Four Tops. These guys stuck out like a sore thumb. So
Not feelers? Not feelers?
No.
jumpsuit.
The kind of jumpsuit, velvet, not velvet, terry cloth.
Yeah.
So I was their beard. So but the thing here, so when we came down here, so we had all the connections with the modeling agencies.
Yeah.
So there was 16 modeling agencies and 5 blocks.
All right.
So that's like having.
Irene Marie, Michelle Palmier.
Patrick Marie.
Yeah.
So we had.
Yeah, Patrick.
It's like having 15.
guy.
It's like having 15
The booking
football
table.
teams.
Yeah.
So you have the 2 centers, 2 wide receivers,
Yeah.
the 2 Chinese. It got so confusing. We just called them from what country they're from. And at the time, like I said, we were trading. We would sit down at lunch and say,
Trade
"I'll take
accounts.
this girl's car, this girl's car," and it became like it got so unbelievable. Right now, I would probably kill everybody here for one of them.
right.
But by the time it was like spoiled, spoiled, and it was just, and it just kept on
The
coming.
modeling industry here in Miami at that time in the 90s was huge.
It was off the
But
chain.
here's the difference. It wasn't Disney. And you tell me, Andy, you know what? Whatever you say goes. But
It was a
I
village.
used to walk over on where Tony Gold, God bless him,
Right, talk about it.
created the
Right.
whole thing, right? And I'd walk. And Versace was at the News Cafe. But the point was, rent was $500. And those models you're talking about could afford to live here without fucking.
Yeah.
If they wanted to fuck, they could fuck. You know what I mean? But they didn't have to.
Yeah.
They could afford to enjoy the sun. And that's what made South Beach. Because forget the cocaine.
Right.
Cocaine encouraged the
Right.
situation.
Well said.
But the girls, the money
Brought
for
the people.
nothing and the chicks for free.
But I gotta tell you one thing.
It was different, wasn't it? Wasn't Disney?
It was.
Yeah.
It was Disney.
$500 you could get in a
Disneyland
fucking
for
apartment.
degenerates.
At the what was that? The Tides? Remember the Tides?
Yeah. Wasn't it a different time?
Unbelievable. But
Yes.
but when you moved here, actually, if you had any type of vehicle that had wheels, you were the god. I had a 930 turbo Porsche in Manhattan. I put it in a parking garage. I bought a Jeep. It was the best thing I ever did.
Yes, here.
And it was just, we fill them up, and I go to Wet Willie's. And I give them the truth serum. and after that, the game
Money
was
for
on.
nothing but
Game
the
was
chicks
on.
are free.
So I have nothing against evolution.
Right.
And because Elvis moved his hips, it didn't cancel the world. Okay?
This is the best, right?
I enjoy the situation. Right or wrong?
Right.
But damn.
We're
it's
hanging
a-
out later, by the way.
Yeah, we're going all night.
It's a different world. Most of everything that I did in 1979, Miami Beach, right where this good steakhouse is and
Yeah.
everywhere else, I started selling drugs, cocaine, in 1974, something like that, right there. And that used to be the best place in the universe.
Yeah.
It was right across from Nikki
74?
Beach. No, across from Nikki Beach.
Yes.
that
The dog
neighborhood.
track. Yeah, the
Hey,
dog track.
Prime
track
112.
was there.
Prime
No,
one-
that didn't exist.
You
Yeah,
didn't
it
look
is.
that old.
So,
didn't look that
I'm
old.
62 years old.
Yeah. And you're 64.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm 61.
There you go. So, but I
wanna fight?
started. No, I'm crazy. I've done too many drugs. And I drink and I smoke and I do all kinds of shit. And I will drink to that. But it was a different world.
Where you been? I've been waiting to hang out with you.
No, we
No.
wouldn't have lasted this long.
Now's the
God
time.
don't make mistakes.
No.
You're right.
Now is maybe where your insaneness and my insaneness doesn't create a rip in the fabric of the video game.
Yeah.
Now we may create
More.
a beneficial
Future.
rip in the fabric.
Amen.
Because we're as perverted comes. At least I am. I can't speak for him. But I never forced anybody to do nothing they didn't want to do.
On their own.
And that, I'm 62. I got terrible, heinous stories.
Yeah.
No fault of my own. But
I love hearing them, but I won't tell them.
I can stand that there ain't a bitch in this universe that could come out and said, Nelson made me do this.
Yeah.
Because that's not how I roll.
No, and it was acceptable
I
at the time.
come from the 60s where we do what we want to do because it's free.
Yeah.
And if we merge, we merge.
And if we
and if we don't,
we
move
don't.
on,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. No, and at the
criticize me,
time,
don't
at
criticize
the
you.
time, it was so acceptable. You would
So
go to
best
any
guy needed
club.
me today.
I was just talking to Johnny Turchin when he was here, the club new owner. You'd put it on the table in the club, and it was normal. It was acceptable.
Yeah.
You know, to
Cocaine.
do any. Yeah.
And Quaaludes.
Yeah.
Quaaludes were so good.
Biscuits.
Nobody talks about that shit.
Biscuits. Yeah.
All right, Quaaludes
Yeah, the
were
original
so
714.
Yeah,
the roars.
and then
Then they went to Levin's.
and this and that. And all, that's I never lived any of that.
Yeah.
Thank God, I used to do the Roachers,
Yeah.
some 714s. Man, them motherfuckers. You can fuck the Queen of England. As a matter of fact, let me tell you. As a matter of fact, in the mutiny,
Yeah.
there was a guy from Poland or something. A count. He said he was a count. Who the fuck knows, right?
Who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting, right? But they found the Queen of England, may she rest in peace, panties. They were monogrammed and shit in his house. They sold them at auction at the mutiny.
Yeah.
The count. The
Goldberg,
Polish-
right? What his name?
and the Quaaludes, bro. I went to Key West one time as a beer. Getting ugly people laid for 200 years, right? Bro, Ludes got ugly people laid all over the place, bro.
But you know what? So when I did my place here, I put the moniker where the beautiful people come to get ugly.
Yes, on Automatic Slims. Yeah.
Right? So it's the same kind of thing, basically.
Bro, you are like a god,
Oh,
and
God,
we
yeah.
never met. Thank you, Robert, for giving me the fucking heads up. All right.
I sent them the whole list. I'm gonna prepare
That's
you and tell you
funny.
everything that's going on. And I did the same
Well,
for
you
him.
know
I'm
what
like,
he's doing? He called me yesterday, right? So he's moved on up like
Right.
the Jeffersons, right?
Yeah.
So now
$1 billion roofing.
but he did fall off a roof. Not everybody can say that. He fell off a roof. But now he's got a yacht.
Yeah.
He's got a big ass yacht. And it's expensive type of yacht. And he called me yesterday.
It's not one of those cheap ones.
Well, this one's $500,000 just to put gas in it.
I love this guy.
So, and he calls me yesterday because he comes from a different background. He,
He's a worker guy.
yeah, real hard-working guy. He's a snowflake, but not in a bad way. He just has a good heart. He only comes
Absolutely.
around every 3,000 years. So the only problem is people mistake him sometimes. They think he's, whatever, and then that's their problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he calls me yesterday. He says, I'm over at Norman K. And I said, say hi.
Carlos's place.
Say hi to Carlos, bro. I never can dance. We're talking about the clubs, right? I wish, if there's anybody I envy, that's why I like Marco.
Owen Ben used to be a dancer.
Yeah.
And you tell me if I'm wrong.
Shout
Because
out
you're
to
like
Owen.
beyond dancer.
Right.
We're talking about just regular mortals.
Right.
And so the dancer, the fucking dancer could get laid for free.
Yeah.
If anybody, singers and
And
dancers.
bonitillos, like pretty
no,
boys.
no.
Crooners.
No, Brady could sit. Listen,
You're right.
I used to sit at fucking Faces in the Grove. I used to sit at Faces. I know all about this shit.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, dancers and singers. Most of the singers like dicks, but they get laid.
They get laid.
Let me tell you,
And they're
get
struggling.
I'm a dancer.
I'm a singer.
How is a coke dealer?
that reminds you of the show, right? So there was a Cuban, a Dominican, and a kangaroo. And Cubans were stupid, right? So the Cuban says, oh, Dominican, the only thing they do is put out great baseball players and whores. And the guy goes, he's at the table, we never met. Hey, my wife's Dominican. So the guy don't miss a beat. He said, what base does she play? And I'm sorry, this is politically
That is
incorrect.
great. It's great.
There's not a bad intention in this conversation.
No, at all, at all.
This
is Miami.
Yeah.
If you're tuning in, you're watching this podcast where with some of the most well-known characters and personalities and friends in Miami's history, and you research us a little bit, you'll get it. But what we're talking about, this is how Miami is. We reminisce of the times. We know it. We're in the future now. We're in the present. And we still remember the good times. We live it up. We enjoy it. And we all connect the way God and the universe and the fabric, like you said, connects us. Today's a special date. I'm so happy to have you guys here. Nelson, in one word, how would you describe Miami?
Magic.
Yes.
That's the common theme
That's
today.
the common
How
theme.
would you say it, Andy, in one word? Miami.
That's 2 words.
Go.
Disneyland for degenerates.
I like that.
I love Mickey.
That's awesome.
It's
So
true.
let's take the people, because there's the great thing about what we're doing right here, and everybody's so happy about what we're doing. A lot of our friends, the originals, the old school people, because there's a lot of people in Miami telling stories on online and social media. They don't even have the guests that we have, the people that we have, the friends we have, that could tell the actual true stories authentically from the source about how Miami was 80s, 90s, 70s, whatever year. Let's talk a little bit of it. Andy, tell a little bit about Miami in the 90s when you got here. How was it? Like, what do you remember?
You know what? I remember going on the beach, and I had a homeless guy. I was paying him to go to Wet Willie's to get me drinks, and I was with 4 smoking girls.
Good.
Yeah, and we're topless.
And I felt like $1 million.
Don't hate him, guys. Don't hate him.
Don't hate it, but I had 4 tens, and I was paying. Remember the Chinese guy? He used to sell the cigarettes.
Yeah.
And everything. I was sending Wet Willie's, get me drinks. I thought I had it made, and then the guys in New York were like, "Are you coming back to New York?" I said,
no.
"I said sell everything. I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere."
That's a common theme. So
That-
many people
that's
came
a
down
clip
for the
right there.
weekend and
sell
never
it
left.
all, sell it all, and then all of a sudden, it rained for 5 minutes, cooled me off, and the sun came out. I said, bingo, that's it. I'm not going anywhere.
It's paradise. It's paradise.
You know what? It is paradise. But the thing about, Miami is that, like, I met this guy here, and I met a lot of other people, even guys that don't get along with, who I couldn't stand.
Exactly.
And after 20-something years, we couldn't stand each other. But I said, listen, man, we lasted this long.
Let's be
We're
boys.
friends, whether we like it or not. I hate your guts, but
Or you're still family.
But if you go down an alley and some guys are fighting with you,
I'll defend
I'm gonna come and
We're
back you up and down the
305.
Me
We're
too.
305.
That's
What?
Miami.
Yeah.
That's Miami. You want to know Miami?
I will back
It's
you
not
up.
those
I got your
guys
back.
right now. It's
You
not
did
those
it.
guys you see on social
remember
media
you-
now
like
talking
I
about
said-
Miami. It's these old cats right here that know how
Right.
it is. This is how we are. This
I-
is
Dude,
you know what?
in the documentary Boss,
Yeah.
wait till you meet Boss.
the documentary that I did.
There's, Boss describes himself. But in the documentary, at the end, I said exactly like what because there is only one answer,
Right.
Miami style. So I said, look at Boss.
Right.
So Boss is 62 years old, did 31 and a half years in prison. That's this little term.
Right.
This is
out of
Boss.
look at Boss. Does he look real or what?
Yeah.
So you don't carry the name Boss
Right.
through 30, 40 years of your life in the most dangerous places in the world.
Right.
And somebody's going to tell you, hey, fuck you, who you
Right.
think you are?
This guy
boss?"
ran the inside and the
Yeah,
outside.
he's a good man, but what you said is the most important. That describes Miami. Wow, what an on-point message, Holmes.
Okay, I know this. Like,
That-
I'm not. I'll say it, like, I can't say the guys' names, but some guys I really couldn't stand over the years, and we still get into it now and then. But
Your Miami
we
binds
survived.
you.
We survived
Binds
30
you.
years together, knowing each other. We're still here. We're still talking, and like I said, if he was in trouble down the alley, I would have no choice
Me too. Yeah.
to jump in and help
That's
that
Miami
person,
style.
whether I like him or not, because we survived this far.
It's honor. It's
For
respect.
all of you
no matter
guys
what.
coming here now,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Because all of us have been welcomed
Yeah.
at one time or another.
Right.
But you got to make your way. to be original gringo,
Recognize.
you need to be original gringo. You can. He carries that like boss carries boss.
Yeah.
Because there he is.
Yeah.
You know?
It's funny you mentioned that because me and Bobby known each other for a long time, and we worked together for years, and we were working on 2 different documentary projects that are kind of similar. And one of our mutual friends, Ed Arenas, who's the top casting director in all of Florida,
Big Ed.
Ed Arenas.
Love Big Ed.
Yeah. And he put us, this is Miami. He says, hang on, Angelo. Hang on, Bobby. Get together.
Yeah.
And me and
Ed's
Bobby.
an orchestrator. He organizes,
That's
puts
Miami
people
style.
together.
And me and Bobby get together, and suddenly doors start opening. Boom, 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 boom. Like
That's what happened with Hotel Scarface. That's the reason that we're doing a lot of these things. And the last Kilo came about and everything else. And that's Miami.
Yes.
So, Robin Farzad. Imagine this, dude. Me and you speak the same language. 1979, you're a Jew, and you live in Iran.
Right.
And you still here,
Right.
you know, survivor mode kicked in. So Robin, and then he gets here, #1 in Harvard, #1 in Princeton. You know, you got to give the guy, he's
you
not
made a
like
book called
us.
Hotel Scarface.
Really?
He's not like us, but he wrote about
He
us.
can write.
Whoa, you imagine that.
And he humanizes it.
And he comes to me, and I got Fifi's,
Right.
and he says, Peter Zaleski, the condo vulture or whatever the fuck. Hey, Peter, how you doing? But says, hey, I got a guy, he wants to write a book about Miami, and can you help him? I opened the doors for him. But here's the difference for everybody going forward.
Yeah.
See, to be Robin Farzad, you got to be Robin Farzad.
Yeah.
Robin Farzad is a real member of the press. I don't particularly like his politics. You know what I mean? But
We're all in the same political.
but you understand.
Yeah.
But he went to these ivory towers.
Right.
So whatever. There's space for everybody, right?
Right.
But you know what, dog? One day something was put somewhere, and I called him and I says, you know, you're a member of the press. I would never ask you to compromise your beliefs, but I think that this is gratuitous, and I don't think this has. And you know what? The guy took it down.
All right.
And that's Miami.
Yeah.
Honor, respect.
But
Love.
Miami was a village. When I moved here, everybody knew everybody. And you remember the guys Jacques and Pascal?
Yeah.
They were my promoters.
Yeah.
They had the patch on his eye.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see characters like that.
No.
Yeah.
Even Bull.
Mr. Bull. Hey, shout out to Mr. Bull.
Shout out to Mr. Bull.
He's
What about
back.
that black
He's
guy
back
that
after
you
15 years of missing persons report.
I'm walking through the studio. Watch this, Nelson. I'm walking through the studio, and I see he's got so many, like, sculptures and things, and there's a guy just standing like this.
He looks like Sammy Davis Jr.
And I'm looking, I'm going, I know that guy. So I walk in, and he's still like this. It could have been a statue. I didn't know. And I look
He's
at him,
110 years old.
hey, man, how are you? He goes, hey, how are you? And he's like, oh, my God, you know Bull? I'm like,
How
yeah.
are you?
Bull's been around forever.
You
It's
know
the
what?
Miami's original. It's the Magic City. And everybody's welcome. Just behave
But you know,
yourself.
the thing
And
is
recognize.
that
Yeah, just
you know
don't
what?
be a
It's the
dick.
same place, but it moves from section to section to section.
Isn't that
And,
awesome?
and then you
that
bring,
we have
you
so
know, you
many
bring your
sections?
groove, you know? So I started here. I moved over to another spot. Now I'm up in, Little Haiti, whatever.
That's where I live. I ended up 79th Street when my friends say,
I'm
yo,
there.
where you living? I says, I ended up with the whores and the fags. 79th Street.
So you with me now?
Yeah. It's the best place in Miami right now, to tell you the truth.
I'm around the block.
Shout out to the Gold Dust Hotel in a place called Mad. Yeah,
I'm right around the block from there.
You're kidding. I love Mad.
Are you coming over?
Yeah. Bro, you kidding me?
Yeah, monthly
Listen,
party
it's
coming up.
So you're
time
gonna
now.
love it.
It's time. Camilo.
So,
be good.
guys, I want to ask you, we've been talking Miami. You're listening to Miami guys talking all about Miami. This is how Miami is. You're not going to see that today. It's only the old school cast that can do that. Nelson, what are some of your favorite nightlife spots in Miami over the years?
See, that's something Andy can answer better than
All
me.
right,
Put it
Andy.
on me. Favorite
That's-
spots or
Yeah, places that were memorable.
you know what? The whiskey was good.
Yes.
I love the whiskey.
Mickey's.
Mickey's because I built it.
Yeah.
Well,
Spot?
Automatic Slims, because I had actually that was my favorite place. But
Yeah.
What?
Automatic Slims, the
Yeah,
rock
yeah.
bar. But
You love.
But you know what? Used to bounce. The thing was, it used to bounce from place to place to place.
Yeah.
So I would go to Bash, I would go to Bang, and at the time,
What about the place with the grass on the floor? That was a great
Tantra.
place.
Tantra.
So the thing is, I knew all these people, and they knew me. So I never paid for a dinner or a drink in like 5 years.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to be here, bro?
Because I would go eat Tremoli. You know, it'd be like they knew me. I didn't pay. They come to me. I didn't pay.
Yeah.
And it was just like everybody
Love,
knew everybody.
Yeah.
And you know what? I didn't pay there. They didn't pay with me. And it was just like
Honor.
it was a fun. It was a
Special
it was
magical
it was
time.
a super village.
Yeah.
And you know the thing was Fat Black Pussycat in the beginning with
Chris's place
with
the
Savoya.
girl,
Yeah.
with the girl.
With Savoy
And
in
John
the
Hood.
beginning. John Hood. That was
Mick
the
Kelly.
beginning. And that was at
Shout
Mark
out to
Baker
John
or
Hood.
whatever. He had the first place. It was an Italian restaurant. But on Monday night, that's when
Everybody would go.
every
All the locals.
club owner would go there to have a night
Promoters.
off.
Yeah.
Shout out to Carlo.
Yeah. Oh, Carlo.
Hey, that's on all that, bro.
Yeah,
Let me
listen,
get,
Carlo
we
is
cannot
great.
not talk about
Carlo is
South
great.
Beach.
No, that's-
Carlo is John Gotti's chauffeur.
Yeah, what was his last name? Carlo, Singayas.
Yeah.
He was great. He gave me a belt for my birthday. Why? I don't know.
You want to hear a prison story? I'll probably get in trouble for this, right? But you want to hear a
Yes.
prison story, right?
Getting
It's
a
a Hialeah story, right? So, Mesanota, there's a guy that lived in Hialeah named St. Pedro. They said some people would call him a corrupted sort of individual, right? But either way, he was one of the Cubans like I am that always admired the New York people.
Alberto.
And yes,
Yeah.
and
Hialeah.
he would admire them in his heart.
Right.
It wasn't imitation, doesn't matter. So either way, he gets into trouble. They had a guy named Bobby Era. I used to call him E.T. We were in Tallahassee together. So, bottom line, Miami takes care of Miami. So, Alberto had a guy named Carlos Redondo. Carlos Redondo was like...
When he
five-
says Tallahassee, he means in the
prison,
jail,
yeah.
in prison.
So Carlos Redondo was like 5 feet wide and 5 feet tall and tough as fucking nails, and he wasn't the toughest guy in the crew of San Pedro's crew. I'm going to leave the other ones unnamed. So, bottom line, San Pedro gets into trouble. As far as I know, never had a problem with New York, then, now, or ever. But then again, I don't know everything, you know what I mean? But, so Mesanota had to hire fucking Carlos Redondo at the door. Getting along with Carlos Redondo was like the hardest thing in the fucking world. I wouldn't have wished that on anybody, but Miami looks out after its own. Like what you say, people you don't like, but
No
they're...
matter what, you know the guy that long.
That's it, bro.
You
What
know,
a beautiful thing. God bless you.
Like I said, there's a loyalty here, and there was I had a huge, but I had a fight with someone at Bar None. And,
We know
We'll
the
leave the
story.
name out.
Chris Michello. So, but the thing was
A
that,
few times.
well, the first time was my friend Tarzan worked the door there.
Love
Yeah.
Tarzan,
The
great
one
guy.
with the one with the submarine.
Yeah, he looked.
No.
No,
The
Tarzan.
Russian?
He
He
looks
just
like
looked like a Tarzan.
the Andrew
Oh.
Dice Clay.
Yeah, he's a big
Yeah,
guy. He's
yeah.
a good guy. He's painfully honest. And
Good people.
Nicola and everyone says, don't let Andy in here. This Chris is talking to his ex-girlfriend upstairs. And if you do, you're going to get fired. And he's making a lot of money. So I woke up and I go, hey, Todd, what's up? He goes, your girlfriend's talking to Chris upstairs.
That's Miami loyalty.
And
You can't
I
buy
woke
loyalty.
up there, all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom, the fists are flying, me and Chris are fighting, shit's are getting broken, I got blood all over me, and they take me out of the place. But he didn't hesitate. So that's, like I said, the Miami guys are loyal.
That's the loyalty.
But we're
He's
still friends, and that's what's important.
That
Oh,
should
no,
We
be
can
no,
fight
no,
and still
no,
be
no,
friends.
that should be our legacy.
You know, after all that you go through, Chris, friends, we're all friends.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, we did this stuff.
We were kids.
Yeah.
40-year-old, 30-year-old kids.
And even from my
I'm still a fucking
But the best
kid.
thing is,
you guys mentioned.
What's really sad is back in the day there were beautiful women bringing you drinks. Now,
Now
now look with the
I
shit
never
you guys
seen Gary.
do. Things have really gone downhill in Miami.
You can at least take a top off.
You know what? You know what? You're absolutely wrong about that.
I never seen a guy
I
with blue
think
beard.
that the special thing about this podcast
That's you.
and the
Thank you.
environment that is creating
I need to see a guy with blue
is that
beard.
we are not
But I like
making
it.
excuses. We are telling it like it is.
Yes.
And sometimes the guys before the gals, and sometimes the gals before the guys. It all depends on what time of the day it catches you. And
Oh
in
my
what state.
You know what? I went for my friends first, believe it or not.
That's right.
You know what?
You guys, you mentioned
Come on.
Mesanote. That's Biante and Filippi. Piero, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was the spot. Back
That
in the
was
day.
Girls
one of
would
the
dance on the
founding
tables.
places.
Girls
One
would
of the
dance on the tables.
founding places of what is become
Miami.
the Ocean Drive and the thing. But you know what? And then I ain't gonna talk no more. But to me, I'm doing this shit for free. So at least I gotta have my beliefs come out.
Yeah.
Miami Beach.
Do me a favor. Don't hold back.
I know.
Miami Beach.
So engaging. I
Miami
told
Beach.
him, I go, you're engaging.
Miami Beach. I learned how to drive at 14, right? And I got my license, and I was eating Quaaludes, and I went up that ocean, you know, the
Drive.
Ocean Drive shit. They had a Greek bar. I used to get drunk and shit and eat clams at the Greek bar and sell grams. So, but I got drunk. I had a
Is that what you do?
1972
Wow.
station wagon.
Whoa.
But I had only got my license. I was 14. I only
The
got
one with
it-
the wood panels?
Yeah, that's what I got it for. $700 it cost me.
I like
And
that. I want to.
I crashed every car going on Ocean Drive. So that's how long. That was 73, something like that. That's how long,
Wow.
I can
You're
claim
old.
it. Yeah. I know. I started young.
Bobby's
Why you
older.
want to put
Yeah,
it
you
out?
started young. Yeah,
I
you started young.
started young. You
I
started
started
young.
later.
Forever
I
young.
started later.
But look, if I had your hand, I'd tell you the same thing I tell Rob. If I had your hand, I'd throw mine in. There was 25 years in prison there that you had to work really hard on keeping a positive mental attitude.
But you had cable TV with San Pedro.
It was San Pedro, the county jail, bro.
Cubans, man. We make it happen.
No, but either way, it was wow. I'm so happy, Andy, because you do, and OG Gringo here, and Angelo exceeds expectations.
Yeah.
To be honest
Yeah.
with you, we can have so many people that hate us.
Right.
Getting hated, you get hated for being pretty, for being honest, for being this, for being that. You get hated.
I get it.
You get hated. All you gotta do is be alive to get hated.
Yeah.
That's why the
Or have a
Be
personality.
successful.
Yeah.
Or be successful.
Or like we're doing, tell the real stories from the real source of how it really is, and people hate.
But you know what? The truth is the truth.
It always
And
will.
at the end of the day, it sounds like the truth.
Yeah.
It has a shit. It's like fake tits and real tits. You can like either one of them. But when you touch a real tit, and it's like the one you like, you know you got a real tit on your hands. I'm a tit man. Maybe I don't like tits, don't give a fuck. Lenny Rudner made a fortune out of
Oh,
that shit.
God. Yeah.
Talking
My
about-
neighbor.
Yeah.
All right, so Andy,
Right.
I know
And you
Miami's Cubans. Tell me your very favorite Cuban expression or words or
From a
refrán.
Cuban expression,
Coño.
no, not coño. It's when I came here, it was during Christmas, and everybody was going Merry Crema, Merry Crema. And then the more Cuban they were, we said the more heavy cream they are.
What's yours, Nelson?
What, Miami expression?
Yeah, Cuban expression.
De pinga con
You know what Stephen Bauer says to me all the time? In English, he goes, of dick the case.
No, he taught me that. He taught me that. He says to me
Of
one
dick
day,
the case.
he goes to me one day, he says, hey, everything, because Stephen is actually an intellectual.
Yes.
Stephen, I'm glad you
We're talking
brought,
about Stephen Bauer, our friend.
I'm glad you brought Stephen up. Okay? So, Stephen is as close to being Andy as you can in the sense that they're gifted individuals. I don't know Andy as well as I know Steven.
Genuine.
But people just look at your life and they see all your blessings, but they don't get to see your
The
demons,
real you,
the things that you go through.
Right.
It's like the kid that wins the 100-yard dash, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they don't see that fucking
They don't,
kid.
but we do.
All the sacrifices he makes
Behind the scenes,
to
yeah.
win that 100,
Right.
and it's over in 9 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Steven is one of those guys.
Genuine. And
But
great,
not only
great
that,
story.
beautiful, super
Sweet.
talented.
Sweet.
I wish I would have been Steven. Steven's probably fucked more pussy than pussy
Oh,
has.
I know. I've been with
you know
him.
what I'm saying? But all of that has a price.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And thank God he's again
He's my new best friend.
Yeah.
the Miami story.
Yeah. And he represents Miami so well.
Completely.
So
Do you
well.
know that Steven got Andy Garcia
Yeah.
into acting?
Yeah.
It's not the other way around
Right.
or anything. Andy's way smarter. Andy's way more successful. But you know what? No disrespect to Andy. I'll talk about
Not
Renee
me, the
now.
other guy.
If you guys piss me off, I'll talk about Renee. But no disrespect to Andy.
Steven represents.
Fucking Steven is
Miami.
3,000 years from now. They'll forget everybody at this table, Renee, but they ain't gonna forget Pacino, and they ain't gonna forget Steven. And the reason is because that crew, and that's what I'm hoping
Right.
to put together now. You that are an artist
Right.
that put shit together. When it's real, dog.
It's real.
Look, when I got good blow,
Right.
I don't gotta sell it. Motherfuckers breaking my door down.
It sells itself.
There you go. Original OG gringo.
but you know, going back to Steven, he's one of the most
He's
not just
OG.
talented, right? So people, you know, being his friend, people think he's Cuban, like, oh yeah, I said it. No. That shows you his talent. He really doesn't speak like that. He's Cuban, but it's so Americanized and so talented, gifted. He sings, he plays guitar. He's very, very intellectual, like he says.
He's a renaissance man.
You meet him personally, and you'll be like, he's a brilliant actor.
He
And then
is.
you see, you remember what you've seen on
Right.
screen, and you're like, oh wait, that is actually
Yeah.
performing.
Yes.
That's an actor.
Yes.
In one life, talking about the
And
breaks.
since
right,
K-Pasa
cancer-
USA.
Yeah.
No, but the
Pasa
breaks.
USA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
that
happening,
was,
America?
no, he was the first sitcom crossover in the history of the United States.
Yeah.
Que pasa
Yeah.
USA?
Yeah.
The first one.
The first one. That shows
That's
the
it.
real culture of Miami.
Yeah.
Of Cuban
And no,
family.
That
and
show
they
rocked.
spoke English and Spanish.
Spanish.
He
Yes.
merged. He created the 305 style.
Yeah, and it
You
shows
know
his
what I mean?
humor, which he now he's doing more humor, but back he's super funny.
Yeah.
Super funny. Like that expression of Dick the Case in Spanish is the pinga.
De
I
pinga.
love the pinga caso.
So he'll look at me.
don't know that one.
We'll be anywhere, any club, anything,
just-
whatever, and he'll look at me and go, Dick the Case. And he'll go like this, hey, Dick the Case, man. And the funny thing is,
Gentlemen.
he's created. This is Stefan Morris. One of the
Old
nightlife-
school.
How are you, man?
Old school.
How are you, my brother? Tommy's coming over here, right?
Yeah. He's the one that
You know John Turchin, right?
What's up?
Oh, this is Tommy.
Hey,
Hey,
how
brother.
you doing, buddy?
I'm
Good to
doing
see you.
amazing.
Yeah, man, you look fucking good.
Yeah, come over here towards the bar. We're over here. Everybody's here waiting for you.
How you doing,
My
bro? So
pleasure.
nice to see you.
A pleasure.
Anglers,
A pleasure.
Kimpton
How was
Hotel
it?
across Good Time,
Going
rooftop.
good. Looking good.
6 in Washington.
What's your
Take my place, yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? I
Can you hear
have a
me?
thing for Scarface.
You always look
I made for
dapper.
Shaquille O'Neal with
Call
Stephen
Tommy.
Bauer. The world is yours. You know that statue?
Yeah.
I have it.
No way!
Amazing.
I made it for him. It's in my
Whoa!
studio. They said the world is yours.
Yeah.
You look at the globe. I have it.
All right,
With the
I'm back.
neon around it.
Speaking about
The neon.
Steven,
The neon, yeah.
Yeah.
Scarface.
Yeah.
Tommy, I don't really know. I
That's
just ate the
priceless.
pizza.
Have-
He's on his way here.
But listen to this.
Who,
Speaking
Pooch?
about,
Yeah.
speaking about, I gotta really honor this. Again,
Yeah.
we don't have to know each other because each one of us. This is an
Real knows
ecosystem,
real.
and an ecosystem
Yeah.
needs all kinds of people to create it, right? So, Steven, you know what? He's been up, he's been down. That's why I don't envy anybody. Imagine in 1983, the easiest thing in the world would have been to envy Salvador Magluta
Yeah.
or William Augusto Falcón, because they were the poster boys for everything
they love
Miami
him.
Eyes. But listen, So you're a hater, right? Would you have liked to done Willie's 30 years? Would you have liked to still be doing Sal's
like Sal? Yeah.
30 fucking
Nobody.
years? So don't envy.
Yeah.
Create your own path.
Yes, your own legacy.
That's what Miami's about.
Yes.
But still, we have the deepest love for both of them.
Yeah.
No.
Because they were so unique.
On their shoulders I stand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though when the Video Canary case, I was already in prison. But don't envy, right?
Yeah.
So
But you came out all right.
Yeah.
Well, you know why? You know why?
Listen, okay, after this, we're hanging out.
Yes, we're hanging out.
You know why?
I see. I knew I was.
You know,
I
he
told
ordered a
you.
Long Island.
It was
iced tea.
you know what's funny
From
is
Long
both of you were texting me the same thing, right?
We
and
are
I'm like, don't worry,
Miami.
Andy, you're in control.
But can
Don't
you
worry,
imagine? I
Nelson.
didn't even know it
Tommy
was
Pooch in the house.
Tommy Pooch in the house. Look at his son.
Imagine
Island.
it.
You know what?
Fucking
Oh,
Robert
bring your
told
son
me, he
over
says
here.
There's going to be one
Robert-
good guy there.
Oh my God, this is true.
Look how good he looks, bro. Tommy Pooch here. All
Where's
right.
his ponytail?
Bensonhurst.
Listen,
No, and what I
He's got the
was going to
ponytail.
say before he gets here, speaking with
oh my God,
with
Marcus.
Steven, we have a lot of close moments. And the one thing, what he said, the one thing he tells me, he says, you know, who's always been good to me? Tommy Pooch.
Tommy Pooch.
That's what he told me.
He picked me up at the airport and brought
There
me
you
here.
go.
And speaking of Zia Luigi's, that's the first place I met
And
Tommy
he's
Pooch
right
was
here.
at Zia Luigi's.
Yeah.
He's right.
We were making pizzas
He's
together.
the other godfather of Miami, right there.
No, when I met him in New York, right?
No,
First time I met him in New
Lourdes
York.
Castellon is the godfather of
Right,
Miami. Don't get it twisted here.
That's how I met my
Yo, we
top
hung
man.
out. We hung out after Books and Books. Me and him went over to with him and Juan Sid. Yeah, and the whole crew. We had Andy. You would have. We might have happened. This might happen today, but we had an old school '80s time, man. We all went to Cafe Abraci over in Nino's place in Coral Gables. It was all the old school cats. I called him right away. I was like, "Where are you?" He's like,
It was the Survivors.
I called him right away. He's like, "No, it's not my thing. I'm not gonna be there." And I said, "Okay, all right, let's get together." And I go, "Bro, everybody's here." And I'm like, first thing I did, let me call Nelson. Hey, why aren't you here?
Sometimes you got to be unavailable.
Yeah. But I called him right away. I called him. I said, "Hey, you should be here." But he was so humble. He's like, "No, don't worry. It's their thing. You do their thing."
And that's the reason.
Yeah. And
That
that's
was their
respect. What I'm
time
talking
to
about.
shine.
But you know how beautiful it was to see all our friends, right, from the time, right? They understand each other, right? They live
What
it.
he said, he couldn't see. The one thing that's incredible about this podcast is there hasn't been one lie been said,
Amen.
and nothing has been scripted.
Yeah.
And I agree with everything that this gentleman, the OG fucking Gringo says.
Bobby Radical.
And I didn't even. We met at the bar.
He ordered a Long Island iced tea. I go, nobody does that. But I'm from Long Island. So he
That's what
can't
he
be
said,
that
that's what he
bad.
said. So, and then he told me the price of the fucking drink. I says, yeah, but, Paradise ain't free. He says, yeah, $31.
Money for nothing but the chicks.
Well,
free.
we got to keep it
Can
reinventing
I
ourselves.
lead
man.
into a story and then you say if you want to say it?
Go ahead.
All right.
He's going to
Rick
say
James?
it, by the way.
So, no, you know what? Again, I don't get paid for any of this shit, motherfuckers. So
Checks in the mail.
But he made me laugh so
I
hard
won't
with
come
his
in your
face.
mouth, right?
Bro, I tell
I
you
promise.
this story, when he told me this story, I laughed so hard. Like this, it's incredible. But if he doesn't say it, we don't say it.
Go ahead, which one?
But then I'm in a bathroom at a place in downtown. And I sent him a video that I see a picture of him.
And Rick, right?
And Rick
we
James.
ended up in a goddamn boys' room, right? What the fuck? Only in Miami.
You imagine I walk into a bathroom and I see his picture in the
bathroom.
bathroom.
In the
Right?
bathroom, bro.
Somebody who's a fan of his, right? That admires
No,
him.
In the
they
bathroom.
made it.
All right.
It's a bad
Listen,
situation.
I'm not going to hang out with you after
No,
that.
that's it.
So he's like, where the fuck is that, Angelo?
Well, but it's in Bayside.
And then it's like Dan Marino.
You're back in.
Everybody you can think of. Everybody you can think about Miami. Like
No, I'm
Dan
going to sue
Marino.
the motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I actually got
Copyright.
copyright on the picture.
Plug it.
And the first thing I'm there, I'm taking a leak, and I look and I go, oh shit, Nelson.
But was your dick in your hand?
That's not even.
That's what I'm trying to say.
We don't
Well.
need that's too much information.
All right, sorry.
TMI. But I see him and I go, you know what? I'm going to tell him right away. Boop. and it's like a restaurant bar that has pictures of every iconic person
And
you
this
can
guy's
think of,
in it?
and he's there.
Oh my God!
That's how iconic he is.
No, it's
I'm not
about
going
Rick.
there.
I'm not gonna say. If you ask me, I'll tell you, and if you don't ask me, I won't tell you what I don't want to tell you.
Yeah, man.
But the reason that I respect Rick, and I love Rick, and none of us will ever die because we are our own energy.
Yeah.
Just because we haven't got to that understanding doesn't mean I should believe what you believe.
Right.
You know, I believe what I believe.
I have one last question for you.
Okay.
You use a word very much, and I want to know what it is because I have my own understanding, but I want to know from the source. What does cartoon mean?
All right. So, you know, you can't be too serious a guy, you
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Because then you're
Yeah.
not that wise, right?
Right.
Does it come from the
And
mutiny?
So, no.
Okay.
I sit here and I see that Miami, first of all, it's all inclusive, but then again, it's an open city.
Yes.
By
I said that from the beginning.
definition.
Yeah.
So there is no gringos, no Italians, no
nothing.
Greeks, no Cubans, no blacks. We all
Equal.
create
Right.
Miami.
Yes.
Absolutely.
At one point or another, one ecosystem has united with another to have a little bit of a monopoly.
Right.
But it's evolving.
Yeah.
It's like New York.
Yeah.
It is the sixth borough.
Yeah.
Right.
The
Yeah.
way I look
believe
at
it.
it.
I believe that
This
100%.
is where all the fucking people that they can't kill in New York because they're decent people, but they don't want them in New
Yeah.
York, so they send them down here.
That's me.
Exile
That's me.
to
That's what
Miami.
happened to you, right?
Exactly.
No, it's like with me. My whole life was ruined. The fucking Bananos got, and the CIA's got this killer that he went ape shit, right? But the guy had never crossed the line.
Right.
Drug the mail and all the murder machine, the whole thing,
Roy
right?
DeMille, yeah.
Imagine this shit. So, and they get, what are we going to do with this motherfucker? Send him to Miami. So what do? They send him to Miami in the mid-'70s. So you send a serial killer, the government and the mob, they both working together on this. They can't stand them in New York. Like Arano.
Right.
Arano
Yes.
got sent down
Right.
here
Yes.
for whatever
Darn.
reason.
I got sent down here.
You got sent down here. But they
Bobby
sent
Cicinti.
everybody gets sent. That's what it is.
Everybody.
And then it creates what happened.
Yeah.
So the guy gets here. He's this big. He looks like Rock Hudson. And he's crazy as fuck. He's crazy as fuck. So he's pissed they threw him out of the family, so he's going to make his own family.
Right.
And he hires us 14-year-olds
Cubans.
and trains us to be little baby assassins.
Yeah.
So I used to hang around in the fucking diaper with the bottle of milk and a gun. How you doing?
How you doing?
you understand? And what a fucking
Forget
mess,
about
right?
it.
And a hand
then-
grenade on the table.
And then, but honestly, and then I evolve. Thank God. I'm trying my best to atone. But that's Miami.
He's good.
That's Miami. Guys, you're watching the Miami Made Show. You've seen incredible leaders of Miami today all over the show. Billy Corbin, Alan T. We got Tommy Pooch and John Turchin behind us, Stephen Morris, Andy Costas, Nelson Aguilar, Bobby Radical, myself, many others. Laurent Brigade was here. Who else was here? A lot of people were here today.
Everybody was
Alan
here.
T.
Yeah.
And if they weren't here, they
Ivano
want to be
Bellini.
here.
Yeah. And you're seeing a lot of
Especially
social
the
media and a lot of
after party.
podcasts all over social media that talk about Miami, but they don't know Miami. They don't know the originals and how Miami was 90s, 80s, even the 2000s. It's a family.
70s.
It's fraternity. We all get along. We all love each other. Doesn't matter culture, style, lifestyle, anything. We all love each other. We honor each other. Doesn't matter where we came from. And what you just saw here right now today in this podcast, in this moment right here, is what Miami's all about. We believe in each other. We trust each other. We honor each other. We love each other. We respect each other. We open doors for each other. And this is what Miami's all about. You may be coming to the city now, loving what it is now, but these are the guys that you're going to see on this podcast before, now, and after that made it happen to the city that it is today.
And if you haven't been to Miami, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Well, don't worry, we don't got that problem. This is like prison. People are committing crimes to get in.
Yeah.
You know, man.
And you imagine we're sitting on Washington Avenue. That's where all the bars were at, right
the
there.
epicenter.
Yeah, between
That's
6th
Dave
and
Grubman's
5th,
spot.
That was the whole. That was the whole.
609.
It was
Bass,
wall to wall
living room.
bar. It was bar
You
after
had a
bar
bar
after
there,
bar after
honey.
bar after bar.
You had a bar there. Union Bar.
Jesse's Dollhouse
Yeah.
was there since
Yeah.
1945.
Yeah. And I'll tell you one story about the bars there. Back in the 90s, it's like 96, right? These Italian guys were coming to Miami and they were opening up bars.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, watch this. They opened up a bar that had no name, and they refurbished it, right?
Right.
And they wouldn't give him a liquor license. And the guy comes over. I'm doing KGB. He comes over. He goes, "Hey, you want to do my party?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll come on." He said, "I'll give you open bar." I said, "Great." I go over there, do my birthday party there. I kid you not, it was my birthday. It's like 1995 or something like that. All of a sudden, the place gets rushed.
By the cops.
They got the mask, the badge, the whole thing, and they tap me in the shoulder. Hey, you're the promoter? I was like, yeah, what the fuck's going on? It's my birthday. They're like, yeah, this is Miami. And they rush the place. A week goes by, I'm going, I want to get my check. You know, I made a lot of money at the bar, you know, and the door. So I go back and I go in. They're all sitting in the back. These good fellas. You get to the good fellas. They're all sitting in the back. There's like one little light with a bulb. I come in. They tell me I had a beeper. I told my friend, hey, I'm going outside. I'm going inside. Stay outside. If I don't come back, you know I'm in there. So I go in. They didn't know nobody. We didn't know nobody. I asked everybody in town. Nobody knew who they were. I go in. I want to get my check. So I go in. He goes, hey, come over here, Angelo. Yeah, no, everything's cool. Everything's cool. He goes, hey, we're leaving. And I go, okay, you've only been here a week. They're like, yeah, we're leaving. He goes, here's your check. He gives me a check. The bank was over here somewhere on this street. And he goes, but one thing. He goes, one of your buddies used a stolen credit card. And I go, really? I already knew who it was, my buddy Ralph, old school Cuban guy. He says, call him on the phone. He gives me the phone. It was like one of those old phones. He goes, yeah, just call him and tell him to give me another one. And I said, you know what? I'm going to honor it. You gave me my check, my party.
I'll pay for it.
I said, you know, I'll call him. So I call him. I said, Ralph, you got 5 minutes to give me another fucking card. He's like, oh, shit, really? I go, yeah. It's either you or them, bro. He's like, here. He gets me another credit card. They were swiping, whatever, and the guy goes to me, you're a good man, Angel. You're a good man. You might not see us again, but thank you. They take off. Never saw those guys again. The next day, the door's locked, patted down, the whole thing. And I'm like, those are, good fella guys, like old school guys. And this is like 95. And it was funny how they were coming out here without knowing anybody. They realized.
The Guidos?
No, the 95, you picked a good year.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to take a sip.
One of the guys that I want to offer a lot of respect to is the guy, and here, every time you expose yourself to this, you expose yourself to criticism, but I could only expose myself the way I feel. So there was a guy named Tommy Farisi.
Yeah.
And Tommy Farisi was one of the most antisocial human beings that you would ever want to meet.
Unlike you.
Well, no. And he used to walk. He'd give me the benefit of walking the yard with me.
Yeah.
So in 94, 95, Tommy gets out. Remember they had parking lots around here and shit like that? Yeah. He knows what I'm talking about. And they had...
He knows more about me than I do.
This is one of the biggest... Listen, let me tell you, one of the biggest opportunities that I missed in my life was this. So we get out, and Tommy, I love Tommy. And we go to the strip clubs. I don't know, for some reason they'd let him in the strip club and read shit. And he goes to me, he says, Nelson, he says, you've suffered enough. I'm going to change your life. And I says, good. He says, we need a fucking Cuban to run. We're going to open a strip club in Hialeah. I don't know which one it was. This was like 94, 95.
Porky's?
And we're going to open a strip club, and we want you to be the Cuban face. And... man, you know what happened? I got fucking indicted for a lot of bricks, and I lost the opportunity. I would have been human. I could have been a contender.
All right, guys, we're wrapping up. Nelson, look at the camera right there. Say the Nelson Aguilar Miami Show.
The best part of the show. Everybody.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Good
time. Good time.
Talk.
Love you guys.